Hey fans, this is Wendy Venturini from NASCAR's Performance Racing Network, and you're listening to the Fans View podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fans View podcast. Today, we have one of our favorites returning to the show, ARCA and Legends racer, Taylor Reimer. Taylor, it's so good to have you back. We got so much to talk about.
Yeah, thank you for having me back on.
Of course, you have become a staple. Like every 6 months, I'm shooting you a message like, hey, are you ready to come back on yet?
Anytime.
Anytime anything of any consequence happens in your life, boom, I'm shooting you a message.
Love it.
But let's start this episode unlike any other appearance. Let's start with the real star of the show, Bruno. How is dog mom life treating you?
It is good. I was just saying earlier, he bit my nose about 30 minutes ago. I was trying to play with him and he's in the teething phase, so he likes to bite a lot. He chewed up my shoe earlier as well. I'll take the blame for leaving that out. But other than that, he's a great puppy. He's does really good in the crate. We're working on potty training. Thank God we did in the off season when we weren't, super busy. Season's about to start, so it might get a little bit crazy, but it's been really good.
Yeah, with you and Corey obviously being full-time racers at this point, is he kind of going to become like a race shop dog, or is he going to be a couch professional that just hangs out at the house?
He's going to be a couch professional, but he has his brother to play with. That's the kind of reason we got another one, because we already have Draco. So we wanted Draco to have another friend to play with whenever he's at home while we're doing racing things. So that was our main reason of getting another one.
I love it. I love it. Well, anybody that is not even on the planet of what we're talking about, obviously Taylor and Corey got the most adorable little puppy. You got to go check out Taylor's Instagram. He is splattered all over it. You can't miss him.
So cute.
We love him. We love him.
Yes.
Moving on to some other big changes that have happened this off season. You made the jump to PRG, to Pinnacle Racing Group. When did PRG first kind of come onto the radar? And what made you feel like, yeah, this could be a fit for me?
Yeah, I would say kind of middle of last year is kind of when I started searching around for a potential new team to run for. And obviously they've had success on the track, but I love their story inside as well. Everyone there, they're really, really great people. And I personally know some of the people that Connor Mozak, he's a friend of mine and his parents own the team. And I know that they're just great people all around. And I've only heard great things about the team. Kind of like middle of last year, you kind of have to start searching for your race team pretty early in the season, which is a little stressful when you're trying to finish your races throughout the year. Then on top of that, trying to figure out your plans for next year. But yeah, that's kind of how it all started.
For sure. Was there something? Obviously, you said you have that relationship with Connor and the family before going there. Was there something about their culture or how they operate day to day, maybe that compared to what you've experienced before? Obviously, with Venturini and people like that.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest reasons, because obviously I didn't know like the dynamic within the team yet until now that I've been there. I do know, and I know how fantastic it is. But I think my biggest thing was I kind of wanted to move down to a bit of a smaller team. That was kind of one of the points was I felt like for me to develop and grow, I needed to be with a little bit of a smaller team. Ventrini's, they have a lot of cars. People are changing out each and every week. So for me developing, I felt like I wanted to be with a smaller team so that I would get more attention and have the same crew chief every weekend that I'm racing, the same spotter. And I just wasn't getting that with Venturini. So that was kind of my first main points of wanting to go to PRG. And then now, we just had a team lunch today and got to hang out with everyone. And I've been spending a lot of time there during the off season. Everyone is just super nice and it's really enjoyable to be able to go to the shop every day, hang out with them, obviously do race things and business wise, but everyone there is really, really great.
I love it. Yeah, it almost seems like from the outside, you're kind of trading in the high profileness maybe of a Venturini for the stability and the, like you said, the one-on-one more attention focused approach of PRG, which is pretty cool. Every driver talks about, a fit, being a good fit. Do I fit with this team? All that stuff. What does a good fit actually look like in your opinion? Is it communication? Is it preparation? Is it trust? Or is it just a combination of all of the above?
Honestly, you hit it spot on. I would say it's definitely a combination of all of those things. I just think it's super important to have the trust with your team. The communication comes along with it, but I think just being able to work with the same group of people every single race is really, really big for me as I'm trying to develop. And I think
Yeah.
that's just one of those key points that stuck out to where I just didn't have the stability I needed over at Venturini with, having a different crew chief each race and a different spotter. And so that's kind of like what I was looking for stability wise when I went and seeked out PRG, I guess.
Right, right. That makes all the sense in the world. From a performance standpoint, what are the biggest opportunities that you see with PRG, over the next year or so? Are there specific tracks or types of races that maybe you're circling with them?
Yep. So we have our schedule picked out. I'm doing both of the super speedways, so Daytona, Talladega. We're doing a couple short tracks, so Berlin, Elko, which I ran last year. So looking forward to going back there and seeing if I can improve on my finish. And then also Phoenix, which is another track that I've done. And then both of the dirt races, which I'm really looking forward to. Getting back on dirt. It's been a while since I've been on dirt. I didn't do the dirt races last year, but I did them previously. We ended up third at Springfield. So PRG has proven they won the championship last year. They've won a lot of races. They've proven that they belong and that they are a top team. And that just gives me even more confidence knowing that they're going to do everything in their ability to give me the best car. I've seen how hard they work in the shop throughout the off season. So I know that I'm in really, really good hands and I think that we can get a win this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And from a fan perspective, you kind of touched on, kind of getting away from the dirt just a little bit. It was weird, not getting my Taylor Reimer fix come Chili Bowl time. Usually,
I
you're
know.
all over socials. It was kind of sad. I didn't love it. I didn't love it.
No, it was weird not being there this year, but at the same time, I had another opportunity to still race well. It just kind of happened that those weekends overlapped. I was out racing a legend car here in Charlotte. And for me, wanting to develop and wanting to get better on pavement, everyone had said legend cars are a really, really good tool. And now, after being in one, I completely agree with them. I think they're a great stepping stone and I had a lot of fun. We didn't get a race a lot because it ended up we got snowed out the second day. So I'm looking forward to we have a new weekend. I think it's scheduled for March that we're going to do. And I also wanted to get road course experience this year and it's a good, cost wise way to
Right.
do that versus just jumping into like a TA2 car or an ARCA car where it's a little bit more expensive. So
Right.
I just wanted to get my feet wet essentially.
Absolutely. That makes sense. Okay, so we've got Bruno at home. We have a new home with PRG at the track. Well, I want to zoom out a little bit and talk about your approach, racing life and just the future right now. When you look at your schedule and at your program right now, what does a normal month look like for you at this point?
Yeah, so I feel like it totally depends on what races I have. Right now I only have 7 races for 2026, which I'm saying only. That's still like incredible that I was able to get the funding for 7 ARC races. As people know, racing is a very, very expensive sport. So I'm very grateful for my partners, Buzz Bell's Cocktails and Free Nicotine Pouches coming on board this season. But yeah, so a month, like a day to day kind of, it again, like I said, totally depends. Right now, I like to go to the shop, spend time with the guys. I'm filming a lot of content with my new car that just got wrapped, and then spending some time on iRacing. Just getting that feel of being in the draft and being tucked up, right behind people.
Yeah.
I have a meeting tomorrow with my spotter and my crew chief just to, get introduced to my spotter, learn his lingo, and then watching film really, and then hanging out with my family
I love it. I love it.
and working out. I do work out every day. That's how I start my day is I work out, but it's kind of just
W-
it's different every day.
We can't tell the natural athlete that you appear to be, obviously.
Yeah, I've
What?
I've really enjoyed I'm at a new gym this year, obviously, because I'm not with Toyota anymore. So I don't work
Right.
out at TRD, but I found a new gym in Mooresville and my trainer has been kicking my butt. So my training this year, I'm wanting more endurance styled workouts and we've already kind of hit that really, really good. So I'm hoping that I don't fall out of the seat at all this year.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't even have that in my notes. It hadn't even occurred to me. Have you noticed any significant changes switching manufacturers this off season? Has that been something that you've been conscious of, or is the inside of the car the inside of the car?
Yeah, the inside's the thing. Is the same. I think it's just
Right.
obviously on the outside driving a Chevy instead of a Toyota, but they're all pretty similar. I think manufacturer wise, like I'm not in a Chevy program or anything, so I don't have the manufacturer support, but
Right.
I have the support of PRG and I have really great people behind me helping me prepare for my races and obviously doing my part by staying in the gym, working out, eating well, prepping for all of my races.
I
Hey,
love it.
you. Yeah, watching this right now. I see you. If you're enjoying what you're watching, I've got one quick favor to ask, and it only takes a second, costs you nothing, and makes a huge difference. If you could go ahead and hit that like button, maybe drop a comment. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. Doesn't seem like much, but for small creators, it's everything. So let's help more people find this channel and keep the content coming. And honestly, I'm pretty sure the podcast will be really grateful. So if you're having fun, you like what you see, make it official, click those buttons, and the Fans View podcast will see you next time.
I love it. And I know this question, it's going to be hard to lock in on, but I'm going to shoot it at you anyway. Do you have one or two things that you're really locked in on improving as a driver this year?
Well, that's a good question. I would say, I mean, that's a tough question just because the tracks that I'm going to, like I haven't ever been to a super speedway, so that's all new to me. But I would say just, building on my finishes from last year is, what I hope to do. I have a team winning car. I know my car is capable of winning, so I should be towards the front of the field each and every race. Um, Obviously, I always want to finish the races. I've done a good job so far of that. We've finished every single lap of every ARCA race I've been in, which for me that is very, very huge, and I want to continue that.
Absolutely.
Just
Absolutely.
because obviously the more laps the better. If you wreck out on lap one, you don't even get that experience. So obviously finish all the races and just be able to stay in the race, be there at the end. I think sometimes last year I got a little bit tired in those the longer races that were on short tracks, like Elko was 250 laps, and I was definitely pretty exhausted because of the heat at that race. So, one of my main goals is my endurance training and making sure that, I am mentally and physically able to perform at the highest level whenever it comes time at the end of each race.
Absolutely. We love that. And we're gonna knock on wood that we get
Yeah.
that finish the race goal is
Yeah.
checked off after Daytona because God
You
knows
never know. Yeah.
that place is
Yeah.
I don't even have to go there. We
For
already know.
sure. Yeah.
We talked about you kind of getting away from the dirt and focusing more of your energy on pavement, Legends cars to kind of give you a better feel for ARCA. Has there been a recent weekend? I know you were just down in Daytona for testing a couple weeks ago. I've seen on your social media you spending endless hours, in the sim. Obviously, you're lucky enough to have such an accomplished racer in the household with you. Has there been a weekend where something just clicked for you and, you felt yourself kind of level up like, okay, let's take the next step here?
Honestly, I would say like racing. I feel like anytime I get on the sim, I'm, learning more and getting better. And then also just with my workouts, like I just feel like I'm going to go into the race in such a better state because of how I've been preparing off the track training wise. And then car wise, I mean, just like I said, running on the sim, each time I get on there, I've been able to pick out things that I could do better on. And obviously having the people in my corner being able to help me and give me pointers.
I love that for you. You know, you've always held yourself to such a high standard, and I think you've kind of touched on, how your mental approach has changed. On a tough weekend, what are you doing between those times in the cars to kind of reset and not let one bad run snowball? Like, for instance, when you were down in Daytona testing, you're not, you're in the car, you're out of the car, you're in the car. How do you kind of reset, and get back on track when things aren't going exactly the way that you maybe had planned them to go?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think just being having the confidence in our team to know that no matter what happens, sometimes it's out of your control and there's nothing you can do about it. Uh, and just eyes forward. I feel like that's one thing that Corey is really good at that I look up to, and as a driver side. He's very level headed when things go wrong. He doesn't let his emotions get too high. And as a female, people know that females have more, a little bit more emotions than men generally. So I feel like that's one thing that, just keeping a level head and, eyes forward. You can't dwell on the past. You have to continue going and you can't change it. And I feel like that is something that I definitely need to work on. I tend to, like get caught up on things that have happened already. But, that is one thing that I would like to, as a driver, improve on for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I am not going to agree or disagree with that statement because I am smarter than that. I'll just say, that Heim kid, he seems pretty good. So if he's got a nugget of wisdom out there for you, it's probably a good idea to take it.
For sure. For sure.
Outside of the car, outside of chasing Bruno, you said you're becoming a workout monster, but what does a normal day off look like for you now that you're so entrenched in the ARCA series?
Yeah, so obviously it changes day to day, but I like to start my day off by working out, obviously having a good breakfast after that, and then some days I go to the shop, some days I don't. It kind of just depends. I also walk dogs kind of on the side just to get a little extra money for the week. So sometimes I walk people's dogs. I will have meetings with my sponsors. I will have meeting with my agent for potential new sponsors, meetings for new people that may be interested. And then just on the social side, staying up to date with, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, just posting content that needs to be posted for the week if we have a race week. And then I'm really big on getting enough sleep. So I like to, try to go to bed at a decent hour and yeah, get on the sim, rip some laps wherever I'm racing that weekend. And
Love it. Well, I definitely have to give you kudos because as somebody that has the podcast and has to constantly pump out social media content, shout out to you because
it's
you are
hard.
out there grinding. You're getting it. You are getting it. One thing that you didn't mention that I'm sad to not hear is golf. Where is golf fitting in your life right now? Or
It's off season.
are we done? Are we finished? Or are we
It's
just
off
waiting
season.
out this cold weather? Okay.
Yeah, it's the cold. It's the off season for golf for me.
Okay.
When it's too cold, I don't golf. I honestly, I couldn't even tell you the last time I golfed. Probably October, November. The off
Okay.
season was really, really big or like really busy for us. We were traveling a lot, which it was all amazing things. Just getting to spend time with family and going on family trips and trips with our friends. So we were honestly super, super busy this off season. And then when January hit, it was kind of like right back in the routine of getting ready for racing. So we haven't been doing a lot of outside sports. That's why I don't love the winter because I love playing sports, but we've been ripping some card games on the side, just hanging out with friends. But I am excited to get back golfing whenever the weather is better.
Love to hear that. Love to hear. I don't think I've ever heard the word ripping with card games ever in the same sentence. So shout out to you for that.
We're very competitive, and
No.
card games doesn't always go great, but I've gotten better.
To be a fly on the wall for that. You kind of just touched on it, like your off season. They don't call it silly season for nothing. Like you were all over the place with all the travel and the racing. What have you learned about who fits well in your inner circle and who doesn't? Like it's hard, I'm sure, to maintain all those relationships. Is that something you've struggled with?
Honestly, no. We have a really, really small circle. We don't have a ton of friends, but the few friends that we do have, they're the ones that we hang out with on a daily basis. I'm actually good friends with my crew chief, Kevin, for this year. So, we like to hang out with them. And then we also hang out with Darren and Connor a lot. But our circle is very small. So, not much really changes in that.
Okay, I love that. Last but not least, for young drivers that are watching you, because obviously you are a pillar for young women and just young drivers, male or female, what's one thing about the business and the lifestyle of being involved in motorsports that maybe you had wished you'd learned earlier?
That's a that's a great question. I'm gonna keep it real. It's not all sunshines and rainbows. When I got back into racing, as I was older and then moving on to the pavement side of things, how much it costs to race it's a lot of money, and it kind of drains you to having to find the sponsors, and you know it's never promised whether I'm going to race the year after. So I've kind of just been, taking it year by year and, hoping and praying that I will get to race next year. But I would just say to the younger people, if you do everything you can to reach out to people and to try and find the funding and do the work behind the scenes, it'll pay off. But yeah, it's not all sunshines and rainbows, but I love to get to race. I'm obviously super competitive, so I enjoy it. But yeah, it's a tough sport to be a part of, especially being a female. It comes with its pros and cons. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Taylor, it's always so good catching up. Thank you so much for coming back on,
Yeah.
introducing us to the world of Bruno and talking
Yeah.
about this new chapter with PRG.
Yeah.
For
Thanks,
everyone
Alex.
listening, where's the best place to keep up with your schedule and what do you got coming up? You said you're running 7 races. Let's test you and see if you can spit them all out.
Yep. So we have Daytona in just a week, short week. I'm also having an appearance there if anyone wants to come. It's a meet and greet at an ABC liquor store. I've kind of posted about it on my socials. You can find that there. It'll be Friday, the night before the race. And then we have Talladega in April. We have Berlin and Elko in June. And then we have Springfield and Du Quoin in, I think, August/September. And then we finish out at Phoenix in October. So I'm super, super excited. If I can get the funding, I want to do some late model stuff, but I just don't have the money to do it yet. But I'm always looking for new sponsors. And if I only end up with 7 races, that's still really, really hard to do in this sport. So incredibly grateful and looking forward to the new year.
I love it. And is it Taylor Reimer Racing still?
Yep. Yeah. So on Instagram, it's Taylor Reimer. My website's taylorreimerracing.com. And then I, post most of my stuff on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
And
It's all just Taylor Reimer.
last but not least, I know you mentioned a new sponsor, but we always got to go back to Old Faithful. Do we have any new Buzzball flavors coming up? Last time you put us on the margarita.
So they had one, it was a holiday one. I don't know if they're still pumping them out, but I had it over around Christmas, and it was a collaboration with Warner Brothers, and it was Buddy the Elf themed. It was maple syrup sundae, and it was actually very, very good. So I recommend people trying that one if it's still out. If not, my car is inspired by the Grapes Gone Wild. So I would say everyone try the purple one. There's a new pink one, pink lemon squeezy. Try that one. Try them all,
I
honestly.
love
They're
it.
great.
I love it. We cannot have our Buzzballs girl on and not put Buzzballs over to the moon. So we had to shoehorn that in. That was very important to
For
me.
sure.
Well, guys, make sure to go follow and support Taylor and all of her partners. And we'll do this again, hopefully after a big win. But who are we kidding? You could not finish one lap at Daytona, and we're still bringing you back because you are one of our favorite guests, friends of the
Yeah.
show.
I
So,
appreciate it.
so thank you for hanging out with us, and we will see you very soon. Guys, like I said, go support Taylor. Check her out on Saturday. The day, I think it is Valentine's Day, actually. So go grab your
Thank you.
girlfriend, go grab your wife, and watch some racing. I mean, what better day date could you ask for? But most importantly, guys, don't forget, above all else, don't forget to call your mom.
If you haven't liked or subscribed, you're going to be joking me.